My daughter came home from first grade and asked why her teacher called me by my maiden name. I hadn't used that name in 11 years. Not since I disappeared. My daughter Lily was 6, gap-toothed smile, purple backpack, obsessed with drawing horses, even though they looked more like microwave dogs. She burst through the front door after school like usual, mommy, then immediately stopped in the kitchen. Why does my teacher call you Miss Carter? Every muscle in my body locked, because my name wasn't Carter anymore. It hadn't been Carter since I married my husband, Ethan. Who said that? I asked carefully. My teacher, Miss Holloway. The coffee mug slipped slightly in my hand because nobody here knew that name. We moved 3 states away when Lily was born. New city, new jobs, new life. That was the point. I forced a smile. She probably got confused, sweetheart. But Lily shook her head immediately. No, she said she knew you before you became Mrs. Bennett. Cold flooded my chest. How exactly did she say it? Lily dropped her backpack and mimicked her teacher perfectly. Your mommy used to be very hard to find. My stomach turned so violently I almost threw up because that wasn't random. That was a message. 11 years earlier when I was 22, I vanished without telling anyone except my older sister. New phone, new state, new identity online. I cut off every single person from my hometown after escaping my ex-boyfriend, Daniel. Daniel wasn't physically abusive at first. That's what made him dangerous. He was charming, patient, obsessive in ways people called romantic, until he started tracking my location, showing up at work unexpectedly, reading my texts while I slept. By the end, he'd isolated me from almost everyone. The final straw came when I woke up one night and found him standing over my bed watching me sleep. Smiling the next morning, I left and I never went back. For 11 years, I thought he'd never found me, until my daughter said my maiden name at the dinner table. That night, after Lily fell asleep, I searched the school staff page, and there she was, Miss Rebecca Holloway, first grade teacher, blonde, 30-ish, warm smile. But something about her face bothered me. I stared at her photo for almost 10 minutes before realizing why she looked familiar. Not directly, but familiar enough to make my skin crawl. Then it hit me. She had Daniel's eyes. I barely slept that night. The next morning, I walked Lily into school myself. Miss Holloway greeted us outside the classroom. The second her eyes met mine, she smiled too wide. Mrs. Bennett, she said politely, but there was something underneath it, recognition. I grabbed Lily's shoulder instinctively. Miss Holloway crouched down beside her. Lily's been telling me all about your family. My heart started pounding. Then she looked back at me and added quietly, it's amazing how far people can run. My blood went ice cold. I immediately pulled Lily from school sick that day. By the time we got home, I was shaking so badly I could barely unlock the front door. I called Ethan at work. Pack a bag right now? What happened? I think he found us. Silence. Ethan knew everything about Daniel, the stalking, the police reports, the restraining order that somehow never stuck. Claire, he whispered, Daniel's dead. I froze. What? He died 8 years ago. I stopped breathing. What are you talking about? Ethan sounded confused now. I showed you the obituary. No, he didn't. Or if he did, I never saw it. My hands trembled while I searched Daniel's name online. And there it was, obituary, 8 years earlier car accident, survived by his younger sister, Rebecca Holloway. The room spun. Oh my god, the teacher wasn't Daniel, it was his sister. And suddenly, I remembered the one person who always watched silently while Daniel spiraled, Rebecca 16 years old. Quiet. Always sitting in the corner during family dinners. Watching me back then, I thought she pitied me. Now I realized something horrifying. She idolized him. That evening, someone knocked on our front door. 3 soft knocks. I looked through the peephole. Rebecca stood there smiling, holding one of Lily's drawings. How did you get my address? I whispered through the door. She tilted her head. You gave it to the school. My stomach dropped. Then she said something that made my knees nearly buckle. You know, my brother kept journals about you. I stayed silent. He wrote about the day you disappeared. Her smile widened slightly. He said if he couldn't have you, maybe someday I could. I immediately grabbed my phone to call the police. But before I could dial, Rebecca calmly held up her own phone. I wouldn't do that. My blood froze because on her screen was a live video feed of Lily's bedroom, upstairs, sleeping. I stopped breathing completely. Rebecca's expression softened almost sympathetically. You really should check your daughter's stuffed animals more carefully. Then she leaned closer to the door and whispered, he hid things in toys too.